Day 2 of our Alaskan adventure began like every morning on the Wonder at Cabanas breakfast buffet, which always included offerings like grits, oatmeal, and rice porridge, along with stir fried rice and even miso soup. Next were the eggs Benedict of the day and the standard sausage links and pre cooked bacon that were fine but never great. The next station included freshly scrambled eggs, sauteed veggies, and baked beans, even hash, and my beloved little hash brown triangles. There they are. Past the potatoes were the pancakes, French toast, and Mickey waffles. If you're looking for those famous Mickey Churro waffles, they are only served on Glacier Day and the last sea day. There was fruit and yogurt, and in the very middle was the carb counter, chocked full of donuts and danishes, English muffins, toasts, bagels. Sea Day also included their version of biscuits and gravy, which never reappeared to my disappointment, so I just drowned my sorrows in chocolate donuts. Other than Cabanas, you can order continental breakfast items from room service or even go to Triton's for a sit down made to order breakfast.
Bakey and Coca-Cola.
After Cabanas, we explored Deck 3 forward, which includes most of the lounges on board, including Azure, the Cadillac Lounge, and the Crown and Fin pub. This section is called after hours, and beginning at around 9 p.m., no one under the age of 18 is allowed, though they do use the lounges during the day for activities like bingo and for seminars like their champagne tastings. We did spend a lot of time here for trivia and adults only game shows after dinner, things like that. That particular morning, we popped into the Crown and Fin pub for some Muppets trivia. Crown and Fin is styled like a proper English pub with dark wood and heavy leather chairs. It only serves alcohol beginning later in the afternoon and evening, when it also offers an a la carte menu of chicken wings, burgers, and the like for an additional price. Next, we headed to the Buena Vista Theater on Deck 5 midship for the first of several talks by the onboard naturalist. Each Alaskan cruise, they had different naturalists, and our voyage welcomed Juneau residents Timmy and Harry Tillis. Timmy spoke on whales and other sea mammals, while her husband Harry, well, he was the bear expert. The talks were pretty informative, like we learned a humpback whale's throat is only the size of a grapefruit. And since Timmy was a longtime middle school teacher, she even brought visual aids like baleen. Now, if you couldn't make any of the talks in person, they recorded each of them and made them available on the stateroom televisions. We even watched a talk about glaciers while getting ready for formal night. After Timmy's talk, we headed on up to Deck 9 in the after back part of the ship to take in the scenery before we got out into open ocean. The water was like glass, and we were so lucky with the weather on the entire cruise. We had sunshine every day, which is apparently a rarity for a week in the Tongass rainforest in September. The Tongass rainforest is the largest temperate rainforest on Earth, and all of the cities we visited are within its borders, so the temperatures are actually quite mild, but rain is almost guaranteed. Ketchikan is one of the rainiest places in the country and averages over 140 inches annually. In southeastern Alaska, over 26,000 miles of that terrain makes up the Tongass National Forest, which is our country's largest national forest. Next up was onboard shopping at Whitecaps and Mickey's Mainsail on Deck 4 midship. These shops are only open when the ship is not in port, which varies from cruise to cruise and day to day. Times will be posted. There's a lot of Disney Cruise Line merchandise, from throw pillows to ship-shaped lounge flies, and these shops have just about all of it. Now, the Wonder, just like every other DCL ship, has specific items like ears, spirit jersey, and even its own lounge fly. Whitecaps is where you can find the Alaska Sailing's exclusive merchandise. In years past, certain items and sizes ran out quickly, so we'd heard tale of folks lining up that first evening and even missing dinner to make sure they scored the souvenirs they wanted. This season, we were lucky in that supplies of almost everything remained abundant. We waited until Sea Day to shop, and the only Alaska item that was sold out was Minnie in her furry parka plush. I love the Alaska merchandise. That cup right there, I take it everywhere with me. The shops do carry basic items you'd find in a pharmacy like sunscreen, deodorant, seasick meds if you forgot those, pain relievers, cough drops, and a few items for those bebés in your life like diapers and wipes and such. Now, Mickey's Mainsail carries more run of the mill DCL merchandise, but we did find the Alaska exclusive pin here. We warn the shops to not provide plastic bags, but that's okay. They sell reusable ones for a nominal fee. I think we paid $1.50 for ours, and it was really nice to have for organizing the ever growing mound of souvenirs that we purchased over the week. And we have to give a special shout out to cast member JR. He rang us up every time we shopped, and he was honestly one of the nicest cast members we met all week. After shopping, we decided to grab lunch at the Festival of Foods, which is located on Deck 9 around the pools and includes Pete's Boiler Bites, Daisy's Delights, and Pinocchio's Pizzeria. Pete's Boiler Bites features American fare like burgers, hot dogs, and those chicken tendies. Pete's was open until around 6 p.m. nightly, while the others closed mid afternoon. And Pete's was home to the sleeper hit, these shawarma wraps with fresh toppings. Ugh, delicious. Pinocchio's Pizzeria makes the dough fresh, and the pizza is pretty decent if you catch it hot out of the oven. Our least favorite grab and go was Daisy's Delights. We love Daisy Duck, but her little wraps and pre made sandwiches were sometimes soggy, sometimes tough, but never good. Now, whether you grab a slice from Pinocchio or a plate from Cabanas, sitting around the pool deck for views like this, well, that's the real must. Okay, fine, the views and the soft serve.
Exciting 5 minute
The second
countdown
night is
into our
formal night, so we
70s
got
music
spruced up and went to
trivia.
the
And
Crown
in
and
just
Fin for a
5 minutes of
pre-dinner
some
bevy.
70s music
A beer
trivia,
mug
here
Sean
are
pre-bought for around $16 allowed him a 16-ounce pour at the same price as the 12-ounce at various bars around the ship. Formal night is for the Golden Mickeys, which is the first of three Broadway caliber shows at the Walt Disney Theater on Deck 4 Forward. This is a long running show on both the Wonder and the Dream where the audience is invited to a Hollywood style awards show. It's a montagey type musical that pays homage to many Disney classics like Snow White, 101 Dalmatians, The Little Mermaid, and more. You'll see performances of some of your favorite Disney songs as characters win awards like Most Heroic and Most Romantic. It was an adorable show with amazing solo and ensemble performances. Night two was our first night at Tiana's place, and the serving teams definitely brought that NOLA energy. The outside screamed classic French Quarter with brickwork and beads hanging from iron balconies, but I thought the dining room theming was less New Orleans and more like my grandmother's 1970s veranda. The entertainment was great, and Tiana was a consummate host.
That's awesome. Because that leads me to my third and final question. Because see, this ain't just a restaurant, and this ain't just a stage. This is the South's one and only summer club dance hall. This means y'all get to make it just that. So, everybody, are we ready to dance? Yeah! Well, please welcome to the stage my very special super guest, the Crawfish Crew.
Thank you, Miss Tiana. How's everybody doing? Fantastic. All right, then. Let's have some fun. When the saints go marching, when the saints go marching, oh, how I want to be in the number. When the saints go marching, oh, when the sun.
First night at Tiana's place included Louisiana favorites like crab dip, duck terrine, and lime marinated jumbo shrimp. But each rotational menu also included regional inspirations like smoked salmon tartare and Bering Sea halibut.
Bread service included a fig and date ciabatta with a minted yogurt dip. The bread was always quite good, but I found the dips to be unnecessary. However, Sean found them to be a nightly delight.
I chose the hot crab dip as an appetizer, which was basically crab and cheese. Unfortunately, it was quite overbroiled, which put a nice crust on it, but also dried it out significantly.
I had the coronation of mixed leaves with blue cheese, candied walnuts, and a red wine vinaigrette. My kind of salad. A bit sweet, bit salty, crunchy, and fresh.
I love halibut and had to try the fillet, served over creamy potatoes with sauteed fennel and a dill cream sauce. The halibut was fresh and flaky, not fishy at all, and the fennel offered a nice textural contrast to the potatoes.
I tried the oven roasted turkey breast with green beans, mashed sweet potatoes, rosemary stuffing, giblet gravy, and cranberry relish, as this is one of my favorite meals on earth. The portion was generous and the turkey was not dry. The stuffing was nice, and my only complaint was the complete lack of any seasoning on the green beans or in the sweet potatoes.
I also tried the New York sirloin steak with truffle potatoes, honey parsnips, buttered spinach, and a peppercorn sauce. This might have been a thin steak, but it was cooked perfectly and had tremendous flavor. It was one of the better steaks I had on board all week.
Desserts the first night at Tiana's place included options like Louisiana root beer creme and no sugar added tiramisu. And of course, you could add an after dinner cocktail or specialty coffee for an additional price. We tried 3 desserts, including the banoffee cream pie, Prince Naveen's flourless chocolate cake, and of course, the baked Alaska.
While my entrees were both hits, my desserts were not. The baked Alaska was fine, dry cake surrounded by ice cream and sweet meringue. The flourless cake was also just fine. It was also dry and a bit spongy.
But my banoffee pie was actually good. Fresh bananas, a caramel sauce, and the whipped cream all gave it a banana pudding and a pie vibe.
Overall, I'd give the first night at Tiana's place a solid B.
Might have to give that first night a B minus. As we left and headed to our stateroom to turn in for the night, we ran into Pluto roaming around the ship, photobombing FaceTime calls, giving hugs, and taking the time to interact with everyone who asked for his attention. It sounds cliche, but it is true that these are the touches that make Disney Cruise Line so special for both kids and adults alike. And thank you to all of the cast members who make it happen. And a shout out to Ekarot, our super sweet stateroom host, who was a towel animal expert. Now, one last important point about the first day at sea is that that's the night you'll set your clocks back 1 hour. For us, that meant that we were then 4 hours earlier than our usual time zone, ensuring that on Glacier Day, I woke up before the sun. Glacier Day began with Mickey Churro waffles at Cabanas.
It's Churro Waffle Day. Say Churro Waffle Day. Churro Waffle Day. Do you have any? Oh, no.
Under a mountain of whipped cream.
After breakfast, we headed up to Deck 9 to wait on the Minnie Mouse meet and greet. We waited about an hour to meet Minnie in her Alaskan finest. We could have waited until her afternoon meet and greet, which tends to be less crowded, but we just bought some really nice rich hot chocolate in these cute DCL mugs, and well, we just stood around and did some whale watching while in line. Proof of whale watching. Now, the wait was totally worth it to us because of this. Oh my gosh, how cute. And the fact that we did see lots of whales that morning. We saw humpbacks doing stuff like this. I even saw one completely breach out of the water while waiting in line. Scientists don't even really know why whales do these whale things, and theories range from ridding themselves of pesky barnacles or even as a tactic for stunning fish. We just like to think they were saying, "Hi," like Mr. Narwhal from Elf. And we also saw lots of porpoises.
These two out here together.
Then it was time for Palo Brunch, so we loosened our belts and headed up to Deck 10 for the All You Care to Eat Feastival. Palo Brunch is an additional cost of $50 per person, and it remains an adults only restaurant at brunch. The view from the back of the ship was amazing and kept getting better as the meal wore on, and we entered Endicott Arm on our way to Dawes Glacier.
The menu ranges from standard brunch fare like omelets, frittatas, eggs benedict, and waffles to Italian favorites like stone oven pizzas, lasagna, and their famous chicken parm. They start you off with a complimentary glass of Prosecco, a Bellini, or a non alcoholic version, which I had. I mean, it was pretty much just peach juice, but it was nice. We had a wonderful server from Naples named Mara. Here she is. And the bread she brought out was also, well, quite wonderful. The gorgonzola and caramelized onion focaccia was by far my favorite.
Onion on it. And then the gorgonzola. So sweet and salty. Very good.
We stuck to the Italian part of the menu and began with an authentic antipasti plate. They have two versions of antipasti, the meat version we got or a seafood version. Next, we did a little off-menu ordering and asked for the grape and gorgonzola pizza that we've heard so much about. We love funky cheese with sweet things, but we had never paired grapes and gorgonzola, and it absolutely 100% works.
Next, we tried the lasagna and the chicken parmesan over creamy risotto. I personally thought the lasagna was perfection. It includes both tomato and bechamel sauces, so it's creamy and cheesy and, well, yep, just perfection. You can see it on my face.
I, on the other hand, thought the chicken parmesan was perfection. It was tender and cooked perfectly. Worth all of the hype for sure.
How's the
And to round out the entrees, we shared the veal salt and bocca. I love this dish, and when I've had it in Italy, it's been in a lighter white wine sauce. This version includes a heartier, richer gravy, which masks the prosciutto and sage flavors, but was so comforting and delicious I didn't even care. The dessert menu came next, and we opted for only 4. The zabaglione with berries, the chocolate fondant with hazelnut gelato, buttermilk panna cotta with strawberry popping pearls and pistachio crumble, and the limoncello pork. Now, I adore zabaglione and have made it before. It's just a simple dish of gently cooked eggs and sugar and marsala wine, usually served with fruit, but I'd never had it bruleed, and this was divine, thick and creamy with a nice toasty flavor, and I definitely took some notes when I composed myself.
The chocolate fondant, which is somewhat like a molten lava cake, was rich and dense, and one of the best chocolate desserts I had on ship all week.
The limoncello torte was denser than it looked, almost ate like a semolina cake, as it had texture to it that I just wasn't expecting. It was our least favorite dessert, and next time I'd get the almond croissant instead.
But the surprise hit was the buttermilk panna cotta. smooth and not too sweet, with strawberry popping pearls that did not taste artificial. We were glad we ate it last as it was so refreshing and light. Don't sleep on that one.
When we got back to deck 9 after brunch, it was about 1:30 and we had absolutely hit majestic scenery level 10. We saw bergies and growlers, lots of ice floating everywhere. We waited in line and met Pluto and Goofy, and by about 3 p.m., it was really glacier time. You could pay an additional $300+ per person to get super close to the glacier in an excursion boat like this. These boats stayed out for 2 to 3 hours, and if you look really closely in this clip, you can see a couple of them right up next to the glacier, right in the middle. You have to look closely. This gives you a sense of not only how close they got, but also just how huge Dawes Glacier really is. It's over 600 feet tall, up to 1 mile wide, and 15 miles long. Now look to the left in this clip, and you'll see huge chunks of ice falling into the water. It's known as white thunder or calving. We were lucky to see it and to catch it on video that day. Deck 9 was really packed up front once the ship got close to the glacier, but you could always watch from the promenade deck on 4 instead. On deck 9, DCL photographers were stationed on both the port and starboard sides at the ship's bow, and they took some nice and interesting shots. We still don't know why the nice photographer had us just stare off to the left here. By 4 p.m., we thought we'd gotten as close to the glacier as possible, and we'd gotten our cute pics. So we just hopped into the hot tub for a bit, only to then realize the captain had been inching us even closer. So after about 45 minutes, we ran back to the bow, and wow. A friend on board said they heard it was the closest the Wonder had gotten to Dawes Glacier all season and possibly ever. While near the glacier, the excursion boats fished out a couple of hunks of glacial ice, and they just sort of put them on the pool decks for everybody to have photo ops with. By the time the ship turned and said goodbye to Dawes Glacier, we were back in our room and remarkably tired from the day.
Just growlers floating by, or
This would be
bergies.
Bergie. He's hanging out with our friend Bergie.
Whoa.
Luckily.
And then we're in our room, and there, over to the right, is part of the Dawes Glacier. So we're super close to it.
We skipped Frozen Night as the menu was the same as Arendelle on the Disney Wish, which we'd sailed on earlier this year. Instead, we opened our bottle of bubbly and ordered good old room service. We opted for the all hands on deck, which is a fairly impressive cheese plate, and it's a great snack to keep in your mini fridge for any time you need. We also got a couple of orders of buffalo wings with veggies and ranch on the side, and these were big and spicy. Like an okay, Disney, I see you kind of spice, which I blame that plus being tired on this little gem of a clip. Now, for a sweet bite, we got the chocolate truffle cake, which was exactly what you'd hope for from a chocolate mousse on a cookie crust kind of cake. We also got the New York cheesecake, which just solidifies my belief that Disney does not quite know what cheesecake really is. They are almost always a miss, in my opinion. And finally, we asked for a couple of warm chocolate chip cookies, which are advertised as baked daily. And this might be true, but unfortunately, the cookies we got were not only cold, but hard as rocks and not worth the calories. Your stateroom comes with enough room service breakfast door hangers for the week. which you have to put out by 3 a.m. nightly. This includes continental breakfast offerings, and the only day they do not offer this is on debarkation day. Thanks to you for the view, and please remember to like this video and subscribe for more Disney travel content. If you're really cool, you'll also tap that notifications bell, and if you're really, really cool, you'll tell a friend. Until next time.